1, 2, 3, let's go. It's Lisa Daniel. It's Lisa Daniel. It's Lisa, it's Lisa, it's Lisa Danielle. Something like that.
What's up, world? It's your girl Lisa D, and I'm back with another Lisa DIY to show you how to recreate this Forever 21 inspired Polaroid crop t-shirt. So let's get started. So I found this Polaroid men's t-shirt at Target online for only $12.99, you guys, which is really cheap because I think the Forever 21 cropped one was like $20, but it's sold out everywhere in stores and online, so there's no way you'll find it. So the first thing you want to do is cut the edge seams off. So right on the sides and underneath the armpit, all the way to the end of the sleeve on each side. We need to do this in order to make it more fitted to a woman, I don't know who a woman is, but a woman's body instead of the way it's fitted for a man, which is a little bit bigger. After you cut your side seams, the next thing we're going to do is crop our t-shirt. Make sure you try it on first though, guys, to know exactly where you want to crop this. Also, you can just cut a little closer to the bottom because you can always take fabric away. You can't add fabric in. So make sure you're sure about where you want to cut this. And then of course, because I'm extra, I didn't want to just leave it a crop shirt. So I cut the back out and I'm going to cut right underneath the seams. So I'm not going to cut the seams, but right underneath the seams so that I can add fabric to it and still give it a clean look by having those seams intact. So once you're done cutting out the back, this is what the front of your shirt will look like. But I also want to add mesh to the back of the sleeve as well, so the whole back of your shirt is mesh. So I'm going to cut out the other half of the sleeve, and these are the 3 pieces that you'll have left, and you'll use these as your pattern. I'm using this super mesh fabric that I got from Joann's, and I'm going to put my pattern pieces on top of it and just cut them out. Make sure though when you're cutting that you cut at least 5/8 to an inch away from your pattern piece so that you have room for your seam allowance, because when you sew it, it's going to make it a little bit smaller, so you want to kind of leave room for that little extra space. So once we've cut all that out, you'll have 2 pieces, a back mesh piece and 2 half sleeve mesh pieces. Now we're going to grab the front of our shirt and we're going to sew the mesh panels to the sleeve first. So you want to grab the corresponding panel for each sleeve and you're going to pin it directly on top, and you're going to sew a straight stitch directly across using your sewing machine. This DIY is a little bit easier with the sewing machine than with fabric glue, only because we really want to make sure that this holds. So now once you're done sewing each side, you should be able to flip it up and open, and then those are our sleeves. So now we want to sew the back panel on. So you want to flip up that little collar piece, and we're going to lay the back panel straight down directly onto the fabric the same way as if we were like putting it on. So don't like flip it up and flip it over like most sewing projects, because we're going to actually sew this directly on top of it. So that's why I wanted you to keep the seam piece intact so that we can sew that seam directly on top of it, and it gives it more of a clean look. So you're just going to pin that and then sew a straight stitch directly across as usual. Turn up! So this is what that seam will look like when you're done. That's why we wanted to cut, when we were cutting the back out, cut directly underneath so we can flip it directly on top of the mesh fabric and give it more of a clean look. The next part we want to sew together is the little curve right where the sleeve needs to come together. So you're going to do right side to right side, pin that together, and just sew a straight stitch along that curve. So once you're done sewing both armhole curves of the sleeve, the last thing we want to do is sew a straight stitch of the side seams that are left open. It's the only 2 seams that'll be left open. So we're just going to pin those together and sew directly on top. And it's right side to right side in case you can't see. Luckily I'm using mesh so you can tell that you can see the front from the inside of the shirt. This last step is optional, but I'm just going to hem the bottom of my shirt with my shirt still inside out, just because with t-shirts they tend to roll if they're not hemmed, and it gives it more of a clean look. And then you're all done. You have your cropped Forever 21 inspired Polaroid t-shirt. That is a step up. It's lit because it has a mesh back. So I hope you enjoyed this DIY. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. And if you try this, I'd love to see it. So hashtag LisaDIY. I'll see you in the next video. Holla!